Hello everybody, this is Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. Guys, we wanted to take the opportunity to do a 1-year update on our pond.
1 year ago, we were sitting about, 15 feet from here, where we're sitting on the pier. We were sitting on the grass, and it's been about a year and a month. We told you we were going to build a pond, and we showed you the pig pen and the whole branch through here, and then we started the pond.
Yeah, we brought, Mr. Lance came in with his dozer and track hose. We just kind of figured, we had a thought about how everything might work. You know, he looked at it, I looked at it, and we said, well, we'll take the dozer and push up the few trees that's in here, and then we'll take that dozer and start pushing stuff out of the way and put the nice pond dam in. Well, it didn't quite work like that.
Nothing ever does it?
We realized that we had like 15 feet deep of nothing but black dirt.
And on top of that, we had fat pine lighter was in here deep in the ground from Hurricane Camille. Which was 1969, because my brother was born that year.
Yeah.
So 1969, these trees, these pine trees, had been pushed over in this swamp in the front and the back. And we decided to do 2 ponds.
Yeah, once we got this one built, now we had a lot of people tell us, oh, that ground is too sandy, it won't ever hold water, it'll never be above whatever, because it stayed up to about 4 foot deep for months and months, because it never rained after we built it. And everybody said the pond will never stay any more water than that. You know, we got all kind of flack about this and that. Oh, you need to put oil driller's mud, you need to do this, you need to do that.
You need an aerator.
You need an aerator. And the guy that built it told me, he said, Mr. Danny, don't pay no attention to these people. He said, I built ponds my whole life. He said,
let it go.
He said, once this land gets, the ground gets saturated with water and backfills, he said, this pond will be fine. As a matter of fact, it's spring fed, because he was digging into it. If you go back and watch the videos, he started filling up with water as he was digging it. And right now, to this date, the water is still running out the spillway. A nice big stream of water. It never stops. It just keeps running.
And it keeps our back branch full of water for the cows. So they have a water source now that would dry up lots of times. So that's a plus for us that we were not sure would happen. We were hoping it would happen, but we weren't sure.
And we went in, was it last November? We stocked our pond.
We started in October.
Was it October?
Yeah, before the big rain. Because,
okay.
Remember it rained.
You're right.
Yeah, it was October.
In October, we put 40 bass in here, hybrid bass. We put, was it 200 brim in here?
I think so.
And then we came back and put 3 carp in here with it as a starter. Now, we had done all the pH on the pond. We had limed it and fertilized, and we got all that right.
There's videos in the pond thing.
And guy, we got all kinds of criticism. Oh, it's too muddy. It's never going to clear up. You know, you're going to kill your fish. I mean,
you need to wait a year.
Need to wait a year before you put your fish in here, guys. We went ahead and done it because we knew it was spring fed. And to this day, right now, we're
sitting watching bass hit the.
We're watching bass jump 2 feet out of the water around the edges here. We have carp that are almost 3 feet long. We've got
nice size brim.
Brim big as your hand in here. Thousands upon thousands of brim in here now.
Little bitty fish that are food, plus they will grow.
Yes.
The dragonflies are popping in and out everywhere. The frogs that I was worried about. Now, when we first, like Danny said, the water didn't come up for a while. It took a hurricane in November coming through to bring the water up to the level we needed and then hold. And it was a mud pond to me. It was about 4 feet deep, and frogs were everywhere.
About hundreds of thousands of frogs.
And once we put the fish in, within a couple of months, the frogs were down to a limited amount. There's still frogs. You'll still hear frogs.
You'll still hear one occasionally.
But it's not like it was. And the pollywogs were in the front pond. But this one had a whole bunch of tadpoles in it. And it was really nice. The fish ate most of them. I was afraid we were going to be overrun with frogs. We hardly ever see a frog. Every now and then you'll see one jump in the water. The front pond has more.
Yeah, the front pond still has a few frogs in it, but it's predominantly catfish and brim. If you watch our videos on fishing and stuff like that, you'll see we catch some really nice catfish. Some of them up to 2.5 pounds we're bringing out of there, and very nice fish.
Yeah, we weighed it, and the little scale we used in the video said 1.5 pounds, but it was more than that. It was bigger. The scale wasn't quite.
Yeah, those little spring-loaded scales aren't good. We should have had a digital scale.
Yeah.
I think we did a better job.
Yeah, the digital did better. But y'all, it's a joy to come out here and watch the fish. I love water. I love watching water, and that was the purpose of building the pond, was so we could sit out here and watch pond life and then have something to eat.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We get to sit here and we get to watch, like the edge of the pier here. The fish have learned at the pier is where we feed them at, and there's just thousands of brim around these piers here, and it's coming to the point where their favorite food is light bread. They love bread. Now we do feed them the fish food, but they eat it, but they're not crazy about it. But you start putting that light bread out, and the old big brim come up for that.
Oh, they love it.
They just love it.
It's fun to watch them and watch how they do with the bread. We buy a cheap loaf of bread and we'll throw a few pieces out, we'll crumble it up, and they just attack it. They love the light bread. I don't know that it's good for them, but they love it.
They love it. And you know, all ponds have their problems. This one we had problems with the birds walking around the edges eating our little fish when we first started. We kind of put up some stuff and got them ran away. And they don't hardly ever visit anymore, but the turtles was a problem. Now we had problems with turtles, but now, you know, it may offend you, it may not, I don't know, but we've killed out every turtle we've seen in the pond.
Yes, and every snake.
And we've had, this is 3 moccasins we've killed out of this one.
Possibly, yeah.
And basically haven't seen any more.
After a big rain, we will see a snake or a turtle or both. And then once we get rid of those, we don't see any more till another big rain. So it's like it brings them to the fresh water, I guess, maybe.
Well, I think it's the scent that there's just a fish in here, and they smell the fish.
Yeah.
And they come to, it's just a food source for them.
But we love having fish fries now.
Oh,
and
we do.
Like now, I'm sitting watching all the bugs. It's amazing to watch water bugs, and they just different kinds. The dragonfly is one of my favorite. Watching them. Watching them skip around all over everywhere.
And we do have we have a weed started in here. You know, we knew when those old long-legged birds started coming around our pond that they would transfer stuff especially from our neighbor's pond back here. It's just infested with stuff, and we knew that if the birds went to that pond and came to this one, that they would probably bring stuff with them. So what we've done this past month is we bought 3 more carp and put on here, which gives us a total of 6 carp in our pond now. And so far, it looks like they're doing a really good job about keeping most stuff down. Now, we do have to weed eat around the edges, because if you let stuff start growing around the edges, your pond gets out of control. So we do try at least once a month to weed eat around the edges and to keep it weed eated down. And the good thing about it is when you weed eat it and that grass floats out in the water, the carp will actually eat that grass.
They love it, so it's a win-win. One of the biggest things on our homestead was the pond. When Danny and I got married, the year we got married, we wanted to build the pond and get married on a pier like this.
Yes.
And we just didn't have the finances.
Right.
We couldn't make it happen. And for 8 years, well, actually 7 years.
For 7 years.
We wanted a pond. And finally last year, we made it happen. The best investment I think we've made.
I think you're right. I think it's
best investment ever.
The best investment for sustainability. I mean, it
Yes.
provides water for the cattle.
Water for greenhouses.
The greenhouses. That's another biggie, because
the fertilizer, the fish emulsion. Everybody's talking about how expensive fish emulsion is and stuff. If you have a way to make a pond, I'd say on your property, or you have a pond, consider putting it somewhere close to where you're going to be living or raising food, because we can water this garden up here, we can water both greenhouses, and it's fish emulsion.
Yeah,
we don't have to buy that.
We don't have to buy it, and our plants are flourishing using this kind of stuff in
I've
there.
been doing the rose garden now for a while, dipping the water
Yeah.
and pouring on the rose garden, and it's amazing. I'm really liking having the fish water for stuff. It's good.
And like I said, it was part of our sustainability here at Deep South Homestead, because it's another water source for us. It's another food source for us. It's another fertilizer source for us. It was just a win-win all the way around. Now, it cost us some money to put in the spillways, and we still have some issues with the spillways. You know, we got to still do some work on that. But overall, I think it's going to work out to be probably one of the better investments that we've ever made.
Yeah. And guys, sometimes you look at things and you say, I just can't afford. And Danny and I did that for 7 years. We said, we just can't afford to put a pond in. We just can't afford to put a pond in. And last year we said, you know, will it benefit us to do a pond? The benefits way outweigh the cost of a pond. Now, some places you may have to pay way more than we pay.
Yeah, some places you may have to pay a lot more.
We had
than
somebody, a friend that helped build the pond, and he did a good job, and he was reasonable.
Yeah.
And we would have spent what we spent on this pond in 5 years. We would have spent on the food that we're going to get from it, the fertilizer we're going to get from it, the water source we got from it.
Yeah.
All this stuff. In 5 years, it pays for itself.
It paid for itself.
Easy.
Yeah.
Maybe
Easy.
2 or 3 times in 5 years, but it's well worth it, especially with the price of fish.
Yeah, with the price of any meat. I mean, you come out here, if you go and we catch, it's nothing. Within 5 minutes, we can catch our fish for the day. You know, because there's just that many big fish in here. And we do a lot of catch and release and stuff like that, just so we have fun and fishing. And we enjoy it. And if we happen to hook one with the catch and release and it does some damage to him, then we put him in the freezer. So that if we need fish in the future, we have it.
And this breeze is amazing.
The breeze
guys.
coming off that water this morning is so cool and so nice.
It's nice.
It
The
is.
days have been getting up to like 100 and plus heat index. It feels like temperature, and believe me, it's 100 plus.
It's 100 plus every day.
To have a breeze blowing and sit by the water,
It's
baby,
amazing.
I think we did good. And I'm watching the fish pop on the edges over there.
Yeah, because the water's almost like a sheet of glass this morning. I mean, there's just a light breeze, but it's not enough to make the water ripple bad.
Oh, and the other thing was the pond turnover. I think a lot of people thought we would lose our fish, and I do believe it's kind of like a pond turnover.
I think that's what was
because some of
happening.
the stuff from the bottom was coming up toward the top.
Yeah.
But it's not hurt our fish. Our fish are fine, and Dandy would come out here every day and check to see what's going on and if we need to do something. And a lot of people are telling us it's perfectly natural. They have to have the natural cycle to happen.
I think as the water heats up, it just naturally does this.
So guys, we just thought we would give you an update on the pond a year later. Do we like it? How is it doing? What's happening? All this stuff, and I'd say 100%.
It's all pluses, 100%. For everything, for sustainability, water source, I mean, just
food.
the joy.
Just the joy.
The joy that it brings and the peace and the serenity is worth it all.
Yes. So guys, we'll bring you along more fishing videos in the future and a few more fish fries, I guess, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we probably need to do a good fish fry one of these days. It's just that when we catch fish and by the time we catch them and clean them and cook them and all that, we're in the heat that we're enduring, we're like, plus all the canning and gardening we're having to do.
Videos just kind of go out the window. Sometimes we can't video every aspect of our life, so we'll give you a few shots. So thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.